Good morning and welcome today. Now, we had to reschedule this date a time or two to get to this point, and we were kind of hoping, well, it's a little later in the spring, the weather will be nice, the lake will be beautiful. Not exactly today. Well, I feel the wind in my back, you're feeling it in your face. So I'm Don Martin, I'm the chairman of the County Commissioners here. It's a real pleasure to welcome you to this very special day. Actually, the ribbon cutting for Jack Dudley Watts Park, and Jack Dudley is right back there. Start calling him Jay. Jack Dudley Watts Park. There we go. I'm going to do some general introductions first, and then I'm going to adjust the program because we have 3 legislators here. One is on his way, and I'm going to let them say a word or two because they have to go to Raleigh, their favorite place, their second home. And I don't envy them driving to Raleigh this morning in the rain, but we'll get to them early. So I would like to introduce our county commissioners who are here. We have our vice chair, Corey Wissenhunt, who is here. Freezing, we have Richard Linville, our commissioner. We have Dan Bessie, commissioner over here. I think that's got the commissioner group. We have our county manager, Chantel Robinson is here. We have one of our deputy county managers over here, Kyle Haney, not Kyle Hall. Kyle Hall's over here. Kyle Haney's over here. And we also have Ashley Matthews, our county clerk. We also have Gordon Watkins, our county attorney. And a few other. In fact, I'm going to introduce somebody else. I'll hold that for a second. I did get a note from Richard Moxley. I've met a couple times from Richard from Bud's office. There he is. He's back here. Thank you very much from Senator Bud's office. Thank you, Butch. I would have one real special introduction I want to make. And there's actually this lady's right in the middle of this front row. This is Ms. Gail Ward. Now, Ms. Ward, can you stand up if you would, because I want to tell everybody a little something about you. Take your time. Thank you.
May I say a word?
Yeah, let me say who you are, and then you can. I just want to mention that she was born on this property. Born on this property, and she's happy that this is a farm. So go ahead and say a word.
It's wonderful, y'all. I got to tell you something. As we came in, we could look through the woods. My sister now, I'll be 90, my birthday this year. My sister's 80. And we looked through the woods and could see where the house was where I was born upstairs. Stayed until I graduated from Walkertown High School. 71 years in May. And this has been a dream of coming back. Even though after I went way to High Point. I came back about every month. This was home. And it is good memories. And I want to say to young people, it doesn't make any difference if you are born on a tobacco field, or born in a biker house, or whatever. You can make of yourself what you want to. My sister here was a teacher in Randolph County. My brother was a coach and a teacher at Haynes and Winston-Salem. And I went into the medical field for 34 years. And then I've got to say this. My cousin, Tom Southern, is a minister. And he'll be 90. His birthday is still a preaching and still a singing, and was mayor of Walkertown for a long time. And he's here with his wife, Virginia. His mother and his grandmother were born right down at the back of these woods. I was born right through those woods. And so you see, this is home to us. And I appreciate Chris, and where you are, I appreciate
Chris Weaver over here.
Let me come today, because I've always said, you can take the country out of the girl. You can take her away, but you cannot take that country out of her. And so that's what I feel.
Mrs. Ward, thank you.
The Lord calls me home, I'll be brought back home. I already got my place up here at Gresham Christian Church. It's already waiting on me. Except I'll be here as long as He wants. And thank y'all for letting me come. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to get a couple other folks from our staff, and then I'll adjust around our program. And actually, Mrs. Ward mentioned Chris Weevil, and Chris, where is Chris over here? Chris is back over here. Chris is our Director of Parks and Recreation, and our Assistant Director, Ryan Kearns, is here. Ryan, you can throw up your hand back in the back over here. We have our General Service Director, Scott Angel. Scott is over here. We have our construction management team, James Anderson. Talk to James, I came over here. And you have, and John, is John Nance? Yeah, John's back here, way back separated, John Nance. And our general services, grounds maintenance, Andy Blakely. Where's Andy here? Don't see Andy. All righty. So now this is a great, I have an opportunity. We're going to, this, a little bit later, I'll just mention that this total park is about a $7 million project, a little over that. And 3.1 million of that came from the either state offices, state legislature directly, state funds. And we want to thank them for making this possible. And we have Senator Dana Call-Jones, who has a long history and that lives in this neck of the sort of south of here. I'd like to call her up first, and she can say a word or two, and then we'll get Representative Kyle Hall, and then we'll get Representative Jeff Zinger. Thank you.
Good morning. It's great to be here. I will know we want to move on. It's very hard. Thank you, Chairman Martin, for making me follow Ms. Ward. I'm not sure how you followed that, but thank you for sharing your remarks. I just want to say how exciting it is to be here and to see this park. We think of parks just for sometimes families, but I think this is something that all of our citizens can really use, from our seniors to our families. And so I just want to thank our commissioners and thank them for their leadership, what they do all the time for Forsyth County. You're very intentional about how you really serve this community, and this is one of those things. And I don't think that we could honor a better servant than Dudley Watts. Having worked with him for the 8 years that I was on the Board of Education, I know that he really has a servant's heart, and so thank you so much for your service here. And then I really do want to thank Chris for all of what he has done, and what a fabulous Parks and Rec group that you have to maintain not only this, but just what you do for all of Forsyth County. So I'm looking forward myself for my family to come out and enjoy all these trails and all the things that are going on. It is an honor to serve in the General Assembly. I'm so glad that before I was there, that my colleagues were able to secure some funds for this beautiful project. So hope that we all get out and enjoy this very soon. Thank you.
What a good crowd you got this morning for all the rain. I'm honored to be here. The last time I was here, I was playing in the mud with Dr. Martin and others. What a change this place has gone through over the last, it's been a couple years now? About a year and a half. We're very honored. Oh, I see Dudley back there. You were part of that little crowd too. I'm very honored to say that the General Assembly was able to help fund part of this. We know how important this is for this area. I am very excited that we're able to help fund this program in part, and I'm very appreciative of the county for being able to step up as well, because this is a unique park. It will serve a lot of people. We look at it in part from an economic development standpoint, that it will bring people to this area. They will be looking for places to eat. They will be looking for places to stay. But it's going to be an all-around just fun place, and the beauty of this site is unbelievable. So we're very fortunate here in Forsyth County to have great leadership, and very fortunate to be able to do these types of great programs. So I'm very thankful for you being here, to show your appreciation as well for this dedication and continued support of this park. So thank you very much.
Well, I'm Kyle Hall. I represent Stokes and Forsyth counties. Actually, you're in my district or Donnie's district. I can't tell which one it is. But I came out here in 2021, first time Donnie in a boat with Dudley, and there was no cooler or anything. I was very upset with Dudley not preparing a cooler. But I saw the potential that this park had, and I was so happy to be a part of it to help secure those funds for this, because I don't think it just helps Forsyth County. I see Rick Morris, our county commissioner from Stokes County here too. I think it helps the surrounding area. I think it improves our tourism in this area. I think people will stop here, they'll go to Hanging Rock State Park, and in between they'll stop and go to different restaurants and breweries or whatever it may be. So I think that this tremendously helps our community, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it. And thank you commissioners for your vision to make this a reality. Again, thank y'all.
Good morning, I'm Representative Jeff Zinger, 74th District. I am proud to be here. You know, we work really hard. There's a lot of public servants here and everything, and it's great to see when it all comes together. We see our constituents' tax dollars come back to the community and build something like this. It has turned out better than I believe we've envisioned. I'm looking forward to coming out here myself, but also the impact that it's going to have in this community will be gigantic. And just as Kyle said, it's going to be bigger than just Eastern Forsyth County. It's going to be a regional, it's a crown jewel as far as parks go. So thank you all for coming out in this weather, and tell all your friends to come out here and do it. This is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. You know, as I was driving up, I thought, am I still in eastern part of North Carolina? I mean, Winston-Salem. It is absolutely gorgeous out here. I mean, it makes you feel like you are in the mountains in a resorted area. It is absolutely beautiful. Again, as Dr. Martin said, I am Representative Amber Baker. I am uber excited about the ribbon cutting today. This was one of the first things that I was able to participate in the budgeting process when I was elected a couple of years ago. And I am honored to see the fruition of this. And again, looking forward to coming out, touring, walking, maybe not walking. Maybe I'm trying to get one of them little golf carts from that business on the main road up there. We talk to them about having that close by. But again, I'm just excited to be here. I was joking with Representative Lambert as we were walking in. I've known him for a number of years. Our daughters were friends. I said, but what a good way to start a rumor. Democrat and Republican walking in all hugged up under an umbrella. But the truth of the matter is, it is what we do in Raleigh. We often hear about the divisiveness, but we get along and we fight really hard for Forsyth County more often than you hear. And so this right here is another one of those projects where we were able to come together as a delegation and do what was right for our county. And we continue to remain committed to that. And again, I am just excited to be here. I see my mentor here, both of my mentors, Dr. and Dr. Elamine. And congratulations, Dudley, on the naming rights to this place. And again, thank you for coming out today.
It's good to be here, and this is an exciting time to see where your tax dollars are going. When it was brought to me by several individuals from the county commissioners about this project, I was excited about it then, and when I drove in, I was still excited, even in the rain, to see what has happened. A lot of times when the legislature does things, it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a long, long time. But to see it in fruition is an exciting thing, and I can say the same thing about that my colleague says, that most of the time, almost never me and Donnie fight. Kyle every now and then, but never me and Donnie. But it is good to be here, and it is good to see us working together to bring this to pass. So have a great day. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well, thank all of you for being here, and we do understand if you, because Reverend Singer, I know he must have a committee, but he's on his way. If you need to step away, that's great, but we're really thrilled that you are here. Also, I want to thank Ashley Perkinson, who actually helped get folks here today. She actually is our lobbyist in Raleigh, and appreciate her work. I do have a couple just general overall thank yous, and I'm going to just tell you a little bit why this is an important place for us, and then we're going to cut the ribbon. Then you can look at get in your car from freezing. No, but I do want to thank Duke Energy. We're going to hear from Jimmy Fleiss in just a little bit. This property, of course, was owned by Duke Energy, and they actually were willing to sell it. I'll mention that later. The North Carolina Land and Water Fund, actually, they provided the $640,000 to buy this land. So yeah, that was a great deal. That started us off. State of North Carolina and our legislators, I've already recognized, our North Carolina Parks and Recreation Authority awarded us a $500,000 grant to get started in sort of our first round. And we matched that with $2.5 million. We have a second round coming, and we have another $500,000 actually grant from them. That's also being matched with $2.5 million for phase 2. And we're actually going to hear from Lewis of Ledford in just a little bit. He's going to talk to us in a minute. And Bar Construction and Stimmel Associates, they actually designed and actually constructed the park, did a great job, and we can hear from them later. And I think I've covered that part. My remarks over here in order. And now, here we go. I can get to it. So why is this an important park for us? Well, our population, when I do want to mention Damon Sanders Pratt, and because he was our deputy county manager, and the reason I wanted to mention him is because when we did our groundbreaking, there are a couple of remarks that you wrote for me for the groundbreaking. This was the very first one. I appreciated that. Made me think of Damon. But Forsyth County's population is just under 400,000. In fact, 390,000 in the latest abstract. We're the fourth largest county in North Carolina. And so fourth largest in population, but at the same time, we are 60th in land area, only 408 square miles. So clearly, our large population compared to small land mass emphasizes how important the preservation of open space like Belews Lake Park is. Our park system has always been well used, and during the pandemic, our number of users of the park actually exploded, and our citizens developed some good habits because we still have very, very high attendance at all of our parks. Also, I want to mention that unless prior to this park, unless you owned a boat or unless you basically had property right here across the lake and could see it, you could not see Belews Lake very much. You could see it on the road while you're passing. But now you can actually walk all around, see it all around, take your own, you can do all that kind of stuff, which is really great. And we actually have a study that is a joint Winston-Salem Forsyth County Parks open space study that we do to update where is there open space and who is close to a park and who is not close to a park. And this area has been listed as in need of a park area since 2006. So this solves that sort of issue. So the why is important. But how did we get here? And I mentioned Dudley Watts, and we've all talked about him a little bit. In 2017, got this from Kyle. He actually said, he had a kind of a vision of this park, I think, for a long time. Been out here in a boat and so forth. And he said, he called Jimmy Fly, called Duke Power and said, what's the possibility of us maybe having a park out there? And it took Duke Energy a while because this is kind of a complicated issue for them, how the history of the power plant and the park and this land was. But they actually agreed and said, well, we'll have to sell it though, will agree to do that as a park. So in 2020, we got funds from the Land and Water Fund grant actually to buy it. And we actually had our design work in 2022. And then we actually started in 23, about the time we had our ribbon cutting, and it actually finished up in late 2024. So the park officially opened this past January 27th. But I do want to just chronicle for you the things that are included in phase one of this project. It has the 200-person picnic shelter. It has a 1,000 square foot comfort station, and if you don't know what a comfort station is, that's a restroom. It has an 80 space parking lot, room for 80 cars. It has 1,200 linear feet that are accessible paved multi-use paths. It has 5 areas that are concrete paths with secure picnic tables there, and they have a grill also, 5 little isolated picnic areas. It has a fully accessible floating fishing dock. Fully accessible floating fishing dock. It has 8/10 of a mile of paved road, which you went down about 6/10 of it getting in here. And it has a maintenance building and offices. And I mentioned you can see on these charts up here, you can actually see the future phases of the park. It's a beautiful place, 216 acres, and we have $3 million ready to go for phase 2. Now I mentioned that Dudley Watts retired as our county manager back last June, and really to honor and really commemorate his 17 years of service. The Board of Commissioners kind of surprised him a little bit. He might not have been so surprised, but we actually acted at his retirement reception. We actually took our action then and actually named this park at the J. Dudley Watts Park. And obviously he was a great leader, has done a great thing for 17 years, but it was his thinking. It's one of those things, you get a dream in the making kind of thing. It was kind of his dream. He identified a lot of resources to help make this park happen, which was great. And he actually brought he brought the commissioners out he got Kyle Hall out with no cooler, but he got the commissioners out also on a boat trip, and we had a little boat excursion out here to say, hey, take a look at this, and it was a field trip for us, to come out for that. So that was great. So he convinced everybody this was a great idea. So it's very fitting that the park is named in his honor, but it's also something that'll be here forever. Dudley, which is good, and your name's right there on the park, and that's an important thing because you've had an important impact in this county for the last 17 years. All right, so we actually have a program with a couple of folks going to speak. Since our legislators have spoke, although Kanika Brown here, I just saw you come in, Representative Brown. If you'd like to come up here and just say hi, you may. I got an opportunity, we can do it right now. Never let a legislator not have an opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Good morning. Sound a little dry. Good morning. I tell people somebody didn't wake up this morning. You did, and it's called purpose. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out here today. I want to thank my colleagues. Can we give them a round hand of applause for what they do for the General Assembly and for we the people? I'm not going to talk long because I know we all have things to do, but anything I can do to help support anyone, please let me know. We are here to serve. Your tax dollars pay every elected official's salary. We need to hear from you. We will work with you. Anything we can do, just reach out. Thank you. God bless.
Any commissioners like to say anything?
Thank you.
Nice move, Dan. Nice. All righty. So without further ado, we actually can go to you actually have a program, and I'm going to quit hopping up and jumping up and down, but we'll actually hear from Lewis Ledford now. And he is here from the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Authority. He'll be followed by Jimmy Fleith, and then we'll have folks from Stemmel and Associates. And then we'll have Jay Dudley himself actually come forward, and then we'll have Chris Weevil wrap us up, and then we'll cut the ribbon. So here we go. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. Chairman Martin, when I worked on Mount Mitchell many years ago, we would refer to this as liquid sunshine, and we have a few of those days on top of Mount Mitchell where you have these kind of inclement mornings, if you will. Certainly, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here and to celebrate this opening of Belews Lake Park. It's an exciting milestone for Forsyth County and for all of us who believe and value the importance of parks in our community. I serve on the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Authority, and it's been my privilege through the years. Many years ago, I had an opportunity early in my career to advocate for the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, and then 11 years during the time I served as the state park director. It was impressive to see the support from the community. So often, the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, when we got it established, it's been double and triple matched by the local communities. That says so much about the local communities and what they mean for advancing parks and conservation and recreation in our state. I can say with confidence that since the last 12 years I've been serving as the president and CEO for the American State Parks, which is the national nonprofit that supports American state parks across the country, some 9,000 properties, that part of is considered a gold standard across the country. So many other states look to us and say, how did you establish that? And how does that make North Carolina better? And it's a shining example across our country. And so especially give thanks to your elected officials and your state legislators for what they have done to continue to fund one of the most important, iconic programs in our state. It's funded in large part on the LWCF, the Land and Water Conservation Program that was established in the mid-60s. Some argue that that's one of the most important legislations passed by Congress in its history about taking resources from impacts to the natural environment and putting them back in and making them available for the citizens. Since 1994, the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund has provided $4.4 million to Forsyth County, including in those 15 separate initiatives in Louisville, Kernersville, Tobaccoville, Walkertown, and Winston-Salem, and of course for the county. $1.5 million now for Belews Parks, quite an investment. It's a shining example, and we just heard about that open space and plans that you've done here to try to better serve underserved communities. So important that we have that kind of foresight from local leaders, and to have a partner like Duke Energy. Duke Energy is so important and supportive of conservation in our state. I worked with them during the time I was director when we brought in Gorgeous State Park and expanded Lake James State Park. They've been a genuine friend to conservation in the state. You heard about how expansive this park is and how all the facilities that are there, and now we're right on the cusp of phase 2 and putting it in place. It's something that we're special for, and again, let me just say, this park is built on vision, community collaboration, and thoughtful investment. You have to thank the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners, the members of the General Assembly, the governor, Duke Energy, and the many community leaders and advocates that make a difference day to day in our lives. This space will not only serve as a destination for outdoor recreation, but as a symbol of what we can accomplish when we invest in the health, wellness, and the connection of our communities. Thank you. Enjoy your new wonderful park.
Good morning. I had to check the agenda to see that I was next. So pleased to be here today. I'm Jimmy Flight. I'm the Director of Government Community Relations for Duke Energy for Forsyth County and Stokes County, as well as a couple of others. This is so gratifying to see this come to fruition. Hats off to Dudley. I think he had the idea of a park on the lake and got the call from Kyle and an email from Chris Weevil saying, could we do this? And I said, well, we'll explore it. And it's like Kyle did. I got on a fishing boat with Dudley and kind of out working the deal. And I went with the commissioners when we went out on the lake to kind of look. Dudley's telling me I caught a fish. I think I'm the only one that caught a fish that day. So he made sure it all worked well. But, when we started looking at the site, timing is everything, because when I checked with our folks, and we kind of settled, Chris and I, with trading emails, kind of settled this would be a good location. This site was ready to be timbered. As you can see, there's a lot of mature pines out here. Duke Energy has a forestry program to kind of maintain the land that it owns. And so we were able to kind of put a halt on that as we kind of went down the process for due diligence. So I was excited that was able to happen. The lake was built for cooling water for the Belews Creek Steam Station. And so that lake has been a critical asset for us in this region to provide the power that generates the economy that we enjoy today. And we've got plans to build. We're doing the proposal for a new nuclear station on the lake, an advanced nuclear station. So it'll continue to be a critical asset for us for the future to come. And I think as Don noted, the lake really doesn't have a park on the lake. And so there's not a lot of access, there's not a lot of houses on the lake. And so this is going to be just a fantastic asset for our region. You know, it's a great location, and so appreciative to the legislature for providing some of the funds to make it happen. And I'm just glad that I could be a small part of it. So congrats to everybody. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kimberly Barb. I'm a landscape architect, and I think we've heard a lot about partnerships today. I think for us as a firm, we've had a great partnership with not only the county and the Parks and Rec Department, but with a great architecture team. This is Pete Falla. He's the architect for the project, and also working with Bar Construction. We've done this for the last decade, both with city parks and with county parks. And as a landscape architect, this is a dream job, to come on a site like this and look at the potential and figure out with the team. One of my colleagues, Richard, is here. The first day we were here, I think it was April, and the ground was covered in yellow from all the pollen. We're like, what is going on? But we were so excited to master plan with the county, look at the potential for phase one, and I think our number one goal was to see and touch the water. And so how could we accomplish that with the budget, with the objectives of the county, and work together as a team? So for us, it's amazing to see how this first phase has turned out, and we're so excited about the future phases.
Good morning. As Kimberly said, I'm Pete Falla, architect with Stitch Design Shop. I want to thank the county for this wonderful opportunity. At Stitch, we work on a ton of parks, to the point where we've coined the phrase parkitecture. Like we love these facilities, we love these buildings. So that, the comfort station behind me is inspired by Dutch gable roofs of the 70s and 80s. So we really took a notion to use natural materials, natural stone, real wood, in a notion of celebrating this beautiful land and this beautiful landscape. So we hope we've done a good job of that, and I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to work on this great project, and I look forward to utilizing it with my family and seeing all the citizens of Forsyth County use it as well. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Greg Tillman with Bar Construction. We were honored to receive the contract to do the design and the construction out here. I just want to say thank you. I live in Rockingham County, which is about a 45-minute drive for me. But for the last several months, I got to come out here quite often while we were putting the switchback in for the floating dock. And out of all the things out here, that probably means more to me than anything else, because as John Nance would say, we sort of designed that thing on the back of a napkin. And Stimmel has been a great partner, Stitch also. But the groundbreaking, I told you this was our playground. So I hope y'all enjoy it. We've enjoyed working for you, everybody involved. But I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, and look forward to future phases. Thank you.
So I'm Jack Dudley Watts Jr. Yes. I was kind of hoping to return to relative obscurity, and now I got to behave myself the rest of my life. So, but I do want to thank the commissioners for what last June was an oversized recognition of my service, and today it's like a really oversized. Now that you get to come out here and see it, but it is absolutely an honor. My wife Kathy's here, and so. She wondered why, for work, I kept coming up to Belews Lake and getting on a boat and going fishing with Jimmy Flight. And but it was one of the perks of the job that's sometimes kind of tough. It is an oversized recognition. Chantel and Damon and Scott and James. I mean, I can just go absolutely down the list. And this park ought to have a huge name that starts with commissioners and legislators and some county staff, and Mike Anderson's here, who
was our Parks Director before Chris, because we've had a lot of staff that's really ascended into these other leadership roles. And Mike, man, it was really a huge effort around all of that. Couple other folks that hadn't been mentioned. Chief Brian Smith of the Belews Creek Volunteer Fire Department back here. Raise your hand, Brian. Brian's an amazing guy. Absolutely, he is a community guy, and he when we were doing some of the community meetings, he held everything together. And I think you can say, because there was some opposition from some neighbors who didn't necessarily want to park in their backyard, but Brian, like he does with everything, man, just thank you. It was fantastic. Probably a bunch of other people that I really need to mention. As far as the public policy side of it, having been up here and explored around, one of the community problems was, and I think Jimmy would recognize it, there really was not much public access to this place. And so people were naturally going to trespass on Duke Energy land because the lake's too much of an attraction. So there really was nowhere just to go fish and do that. And so as a result, there was some trash that was left around, and it's just, so one of my hopes for this is that this really does solve that and really makes this everyone's park. And so it's going to be terrific. Got a couple buddies from college that showed up. Thanks, guys. Bill and Greg, Bill Turlock and Greg. Thank you. Anyway, thank you. I hope this is just amazing, and phase 2 sounds like it's going to be fantastic. So thank you, and let's get on with ribbon cutting. I think Chris is
Well, I promised this morning when I was walking at about 6:30, it was about 60 degrees and it wasn't raining. I could see the sun. So Chief Smith, he said we definitely needed the rain. So I appreciate everybody being here. So in closing, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules to be here today. The Jack Dudley Watts Jr. Forsyth County Belews Lake Park is Forsyth County's 10th and now newest park. The journey to get here to today began just over 6 years ago. Jimmy mentioned it started with an email and a phone call right after Christmas 2017, and we really got into it starting in 2018. So fast forward to today, we have completed development on the first phase of the park. I really want to take time to thank all of our state legislators for their support for this and all Forsyth County projects. Thank you to our state parks partners and Parks and Recreation Authority for their help and assistance with this project. Thank you to our county commissioners for their support of this project and all their continued support they provide to the Forsyth County Parks and Recreation Department. Thank you for our Forsyth County officials, both past and present. Several folks here today that have worked on this project that are no longer with the county, but they're here today, and we appreciate them being here. Thank you to all of our county park staff and county internal service departments for their hard work and efforts behind the scenes. It takes the entire county to make something like this come together, and it's really neat to work with that. A special thanks again to Duke Energy. Without their willingness to participate in this process, Forsyth County would not have a 216-acre property that is now the only public park located on Belews Lake. And again, also want to thank special thanks to Chief Brian Smith and the Belews Creek Fire Department. He corrected me when I said Belews Lake Fire Department. He told me exactly that it is Belews Creek Fire Department. So I understand that now. With the forward thinking and support of our elected state and county officials, state parks partner, county officials, key staff members, and Duke Energy, the idea of a park in the Belews Lake community has become a reality. It's been an honor and privilege to have been able to participate in this outstanding opportunity of the creation and development of the 10th park in the Forsyth County Parks and Recreation Department system. So I want to thank you to all, say thank you to all, and everybody to have a great day. If you'll give us just a few minutes, we're going to kind of reset the stage here, and we're going to cut a ribbon. Thank you very much.